Hey, it's Mr. J making a quick video. I realized that I didn't have all my subtraction strategies listed. So the one I've forgotten, which is weird because it's the one I actually do, is called adding on. Okay? So when it comes to subtraction, I'd rather add. When it comes to multiplication, I'd rather divide. Those are the two sort of operations I'm the strongest at, adding and multiplication. So let's take a question here. Let's take one that's fairly easy. Let's take like 376, take away, I don't know, what do we want to do here? 301, okay? So in adding on, where's my focus? There we go. In adding on, you're looking for the difference, okay? So subtraction you can think of in two ways. So the most obvious way, and the way we sort of teach little kids when we're first starting, is we say take away, okay? So we say 7, take away 6, right? And what we mean by that is, like, you know, you get them like, oh, let's draw 7 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's draw 7 things. And if we take away 6 of them, how many's left, right? Oh, there's 1, okay? So that's takeaway, or sometimes we call that removal, okay? And that's a pretty easy way to understand subtraction with smaller numbers. And that's usually sort of the stories we tell little kids too, right? Like someone has 7 chocolate bars and they're giving away 6. How many will they have left? Things like that, right? But you can also think of subtraction a different way. You can think of it as difference, in fact. And what we mean by that is, oops, nice spelling. What we mean by that is that we're looking for the amount in between, the difference between the two numbers, how much exists in the middle of those, okay? And that will also give us the answer to a subtraction question. Now that's maybe a little bit of a different story, but if it's just a subtraction question, you can kind of apply either this removal method or this difference method, okay? So if I want to sort of use a model, and I always do if I can think about it like this on a number line, okay? And I can put those two numbers on there. So I don't know, let's make this 300, and let's make this 400. And I'm going to say, so 301 is going to be like right here, right? 301. And then 376 is going to be, you know, here-ish. And again, I'm not perfection. I'm not busting out my ruler and making sure everything's perfect, perfect, perfect. But that's what I'm looking for, okay? This area in between is the difference. So everything that exists, whoa, the highlighter doesn't work. Everything that exists in the middle, okay? The difference. All that, okay? So how much is that is sort of the question. And if I can find that difference, then I'm going to find the answer to the question, okay? So there's a number of ways I can do that. One is I start at the smallest number and I just sort of count up, right? And I can just sort of see that, oh, there's a difference of 75 there because, you know, 301 to 376 is going to be 75. I can sort of see it. It worked out fairly easy this time. But I could also jump up, right? I could jump up by 10s, 10 at a time, until I get to, well, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not very good jumps, but there we go. So this would be, you know, 311, 321, 331, 341, 351, 361, and then I would be at 371, okay? And so that would be a jump of 10, 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 a jump of 10. So I'd be at 70, right? And then I need to make my final jump. So from 371 to 376 is a jump of 5. Okay, and then when I count all that up, I see that it's 75. All right? And that's my difference, okay? Now, if I get pretty good at this and I don't want to use the model necessarily, and if, you know, on my test, there's going to be one question, so, like, use the model, why not? But if it was more of a situation where you were in real life and you were using mental math, let's take, I don't know, 532 take away, let's do something a little different this time. Let's do, like, 71. Okay, so this one's not as easy to see the difference, right? Even with this question was just right now, I could sort of see the difference. I can imagine it being 75, okay? So this time I'm going to add on again. And instead of using a model, maybe I'll just do like a list. So I'm at 71, okay? And I know I've got like a long way to go. Okay, I got to go to 532. So jumping up by tens is not going to be super useful here, okay? But what if I jumped by 400? So if I just sort of say 400, that's going to get me to 471. Okay, I'm getting a lot closer to 532. And I'm going to jump another chunk, okay? And maybe this time I'm going to jump And it doesn't have to always be like even jumps, right? I'm saying, man, I kind of wish this was at 500. So I'm going to make it 500 by jumping 29. Okay, and that's going to get me to 500. All right. Now I could have jumped by any number. That's what's cool about this strategy. It's one of the reasons I like this strategy. You can jump by anything you want. I chose to jump by 29 so I'd get to 500. And now it's a pretty easy jump at the end, 32, which gets me to 532. Okay? So now I check how much did I have to add on, right? How much did I add on to 71 to get to 532? Well, I added all these bits, right? And maybe it's a little hard to add all at once, so maybe I'll add this separately, which is going to be what? 61. Okay, and then the 400, so 461. Okay, so that is the answer to this subtraction question. And instead of taking the 71 away bit by bit by bit by bit, instead I added on to the smaller number, the 71, until I got to the bigger number, because that finds the difference between those two numbers. And again, if it was on a number line, so it's going to be a pretty big number line. If it was on a number line, oops, and I was starting at, let's say, 0 and going all the way up to, I guess, let's say 600, I guess, right? So it's going to be 300, 400, 500. Okay, and you can see why maybe doing a number line every time would be a little excessive, because it takes quite a while to make some of these number lines, okay? But if I started here at 71, and I was going all the way to 532, which is, here-ish, I can see that that was like a lot of jumps, right? It was a long, much further distance than the original question, the simpler one. So again, I could use the number line to sort of jump up, and I could maybe even do different jumps. So here I just did jumps that I felt like doing, like I jumped by 400 right at the start, right? But here I could do different jumps. Like let's say I want to go from 71 to 100, I could make that jump instead, okay? And from 71 to 100 would be a jump of 29. And now I can do my big jump, right? 100, 200, 300, 400. So there's my huge jump, right? Instead of going by 10, by 10, by 10, by 10, I could do a big, 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 big jump. And then finally that last jump, which is going to be my 32. Okay, and I get the same answer, right? When I add those numbers together, I still get 461. All right, so that's my personal favorite strategy. That's certainly the strategy I use when I have to do a fairly large subtraction question, is I flip the numbers and I add on, okay? So there you go.